In this video, we'll have a deeper look of the 3D view here. So all this part of the interface. So first of all, on the left corner here, we have the way to select objects. Okay. So what I will do, I will just duplicate this cube a few times. Okay, with shortcut Shift D and right and left click, just like that. Okay, like this you can see a little more, and I will just remove. There's two other objects like this. I only have cubes here. Okay, so the first way of selecting is by making a click and drag and to have here the select box. Okay, so you select what's inside the box. Okay, and you can use it with the select circle as well. So everything that is inside this, it's more like a paint tool, the circle one. Okay, so can be useful as well. And you have the lasso here where you select your objects like that. Okay, and these options here are related to this here, this tool. Okay, we have a few tools here. So the first tool is the select one. When you click and drag here, you select what's inside, and every time it makes a new selection. Okay, so when you use that, you add to your selection, so it can be useful to use like that. Here you have the remove from your selection here. Okay, here you have the invert selection here like this, and here we have keep the intersection of the selection. So those two here are less useful, but the three first ones are very important to understand, and they work with the three tools here: the select tool, the select lasso here. Okay. Now we have the cursor here, and it moves the cursor, the 3D cursor. So the cursor here is really important to manage a few things. Like for example, you can move your objects to the cursor. So if you move the cursor like that, you can select an object and put it with a right click. You can see you can just no, with Shift S, sorry, selection to cursor, and the object will go to the cursor directly. So it can be useful to put back the cursor into the center of the 3D view. Use Shift C, okay, and it will come back like C, like cursor. So easy to remember. Okay, now we have here the different tools that we will discover more into the next videos. But here we have the annotate tool that is good to annotate directly in 3D like that. You can just play with the different tools. You have the line, the polygons here, like for example to make some shapes like this. It's only for annotate and help you for showing something into for your collaborators or something like that. Okay, you can erase them by using the annotate eraser here like this. Okay, or just use with here just a control click here, and it will erase everything. So you can change the color as well. If you go there, you will have here into the item, the view, you have the annotate here. You can change the color and a few other options like that. Okay, but yeah, mainly I will use it to show you things that I want to show you. Here you have the measure tool here, so easy to measure between two objects like that. Here you have your here data that is directly here, so it can be useful as well. And the rest of the tools we will show it into other videos like this. Here we have the option to move along global settings or local settings. For example, let's say you want to move your cube. You see that it's related to the different axes of the 3D view directly. So here it's the global. But if I make a rotation of my cube, you can see that there's arrows will not move, will not rotate with it. But if I use the local, so it will rotate with it, and it will be good to make some other possibilities of moving the object, okay? So I may just Control Z to come back to it. So here it can be interesting. Here you have the pivot point as well. So by default, it's a median if I make a rotation like that. But if it's, for example, the 3D cursor, it will make a rotation around the 3D cursor. So it will be the new pivot point. So we will see more of this into the rest of the videos. Here you have the snapping. You can snap the objects into different things that we will see during the training. The proportional editing, we will have a full video about it, and it's really powerful tool. And now we have different things that can change the 3D view here. Okay, so first of all, you have the selectability and visibility. You can select and show your objects into the 3D view only. It's not here. It's really something that is specific to the 3D view. For example, if you have different lamps here, I will add a lamp. Okay, and duplicate that. For example, I don't want them into the 3D view. I go there and I remove everything here. Same for selectable, okay? So there's options here are here in the 3D view as well, okay? So it can be interesting sometimes. I come back to it with Control Shift D. And here we have the possibility to show everything that is overlay or not. For example, here I select my object. You can see that I have an overlay outside to tell me that it's selected. But if I remove this option, I have only the geometry and what will be into the render view in the end. So it can be useful, for example, in some ways. You have a lot of things that you can overlay or not, like for example, the floor here, or the y-axis, or the x-axis. You can see in red and green here. You have the z-axis that you can activate as well in blue, and a few other things that you can show, like the wireframe here can be interesting. Like this, you see all the faces of the cube directly into the interface. So, and the face orientation, everything. So can be useful sometimes. Mostly I use this to show directly only the volumes here can be useful. Here you have the possibility to make X-ray, so to see inside the object, but usually I don't use it that much. I prefer to use Des4 here, and Des4 they are accessible with a shortcut, the Z shortcut. So the first one is the wireframe view. Like this, you see everything transparent except the wireframes of the edges and the vertices that are here. Here we have the solid view, it's the one by default. Here we have the viewport shading. You can see the shading of your object and a few options of lights here that you didn't have before to change the ambience of the visibility here directly. So it's not a render view, it's only something to work with quickly and to have a quick overview of what will be the shader and what will be the volume of your object. It's not really a render view. The real render view is here, okay? And it will take, for example, the option of your lights, okay? If I put my lights here and put it into the right here power, okay, you will can see that it will update directly into the scene. So it can be useful to see directly what you have into a scene, okay? So usually I use the Z shortcut. The Z shortcut is the same option here for these four options. You have the wireframe, you have the rendered, you have the solid, and the material preview. So it will call this pie menu here, and you can go to solid, for example, to wireframe very easily, or to rendered, or to material preview. So very easily, and a very powerful tool. There's pie menus here. So accessible with the Z shortcut, okay? And there you have the options that you can manage here into your viewport shading. You can add some shadow, for example. You can manage here random if you want, for example, the random here. and each object will have a different color. So it can be useful when you have objects that overlaps each others, for example, to see which one is one. You can use texture, material if you have material, or just a single and change the color for every object here, okay? So by default, I think it's material and I will not change anything like that, or maybe object. You have the possibility to use X-ray, but it's the same option on top. The shadow, as I told you, you can use shadow. The cavity, I already use it by default. You can increase the ridge and the valleys here like that. You can use depth of field into the 3D view. I don't recommend that. And the outline is good to activate it by default as well. Okay. You have an option that we didn't see yet is the flat option. So it doesn't give you anything, just the a flat surface. So not really interesting. Actually, it's better to use it, to use the cavity mode here, the madcap mode here, okay? So that's it for the 3D view. You can see that you can organize a lot of things here already. We will see how to navigate. We can see that you have all these gizmos here and tools to navigate into your 3D view, and we will see more about that. You can activate or deactivate here these gizmos. So we will use that into the next video, and I will show you to do this with the shortcuts for sure.